Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of War Infinite Panels. I'm joined by our lovely co-host Sarah.
What up?
As you can clearly tell, Sarah has been enthralled by the street life, and now she is cash money, as the kids say.
I am the most cash money. I'm so cash money, they call me Amex card.
Your rap in Korea is not going to be safe from this.
Yeah, well, I can't rap that well, so I think we're fine.
Anyway, I hope you guys had a good month. A lot of interesting things happened over the month of February. Particularly, I think a lot of things more happened on the Marvel side of things rather than DC. They had a quiet month. I mean, nothing crazy happened, right?
No one died.
Yeah, that we know of. Yeah, and DC didn't decide to just cancel Batman comics and replace it with, wait, who did they still own Hanna and Barbera? Yeah, Hanna and Barbera says, we're gonna have Yogi Bear as Batman, even though I think that would save the company.
It would certainly attract some attention.
Yeah. And certain things that are attracting attention is the entire, people may have heard it, but you cannot take on it, the entire Brie Larson internet escalation, as well as the Rotten Tomatoes decision, as well as people are now predicting that the Captain Marvel movie will be Marvel's weakest film with the lowest show numbers, and that will show everyone. I'm like, what's going on? Exactly. It's pretty weird, and I think it all started not with the orange basketball, but with Brie Larson having a very abrupt interview, discussing her honest and frank opinions of how movies are reviewed in our current review society. And because I think it was A Wrinkle in Time, that was the movie, and she mentioned that she hates it. She doesn't like the most of the metrics that guided her movie were essentially Caucasian white men. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. A lot of the big entertainment reviewer aggregates sites are Caucasian men. And she says, I'll be interested more in hearing reviews of people of color, young girls, a different perspective on my movie. That's a fair assessment, but that's the way she said it. Not the way she's always been a harsh person the way she speaks, but it's just like people took it so harsh, even to the point that during the interview, she actually said, I don't hate white men. I don't hate white men. Again, I don't hate women. It was like, 4 or 5 times she said it?
Something like that, yeah. Just over and over reassuring those sensitive white male souls that, no! In fact, when I criticize the things that you have done as a group, it doesn't mean I hate you. It just means I want you to do better. But as we know, white men, especially straight white men, do not take criticism like that well.
No. And they call it as a hit attack. It was like, oh my god, sheets. Yeah.
They made some shit up saying that she said fuck all white guys, which frankly, let me just say this. I say this on a regular fucking basis. I either say fucking white people, even though I am white, or fucking white dudes ruining it for everyone. Because hey, listen, if you think about it, white men make up the majority of serial killers, white men make up the majority of serial rapists, white men are the majority of school and other public shooting incidents. So, listen, white guys, you have a pretty shitty fucking rep, also considering, colonialism, misogyny, that good stuff. But going further, a big way that they were trying to get back at the movie and Brie Larson was to tank its Rotten Tomato score with early reviews before the film came out. Okay, I'm back, sorry.
As he was mentioning about the Rotten Tomatoes score, Rotten Tomatoes have recently announced that they will be no longer allowing comments or pre-reviews of movies to be part of their score because they want the movies reviewed at the day being reviewed. I believe I've got that correct.
Yes. So you can't review a movie before the movie comes out, which, frankly, is a common sense move that should have been implemented well before this, but I guess, no time like the present. But yeah, this idea that, you shouldn't be able to review movies that haven't come out yet in theaters. Because how can you judge a movie having not seen it? And, let's be clear, Rotten Tomatoes isn't the only person who has this problem. If you're a big book nerd like me, Goodreads also lets you do this. Which I guess is good because sometimes people get advanced reviewer copies, but other times they're just 5 stars, I'm so excited for this book. And you're like, great.
What?
But you haven't read it yet?
Exactly, and I think other sites too, like Metacritic, when they do scores for video games, or use Metacritic for music, like myself, you notice that oh, you reviewed one song of the entire album, and the whole album's good, and then you realize the album sucks. It's not a good look.
Yeah. There's definitely like, online is great because you can find reviews for anything, but that also opens the door for like, hey, some things can't be reviewed until you actually, you know, experience them.
Right, and the thing about it too is that like, oh, there's tons of people claiming this is a Marvel hit job, this blah blah blah, women are in the universe, blah blah blah, and it's all this stupid stuff you heard before, and I think people don't understand this is the truth. Rotten Tomatoes is a very powerful review reference site. People trust the word Rotten Tomato very well. I mean, to the point that some movies live or die by the website. Like for example, before Aquaman was released, the reviews were so positive of this movie. The movie got like a bump, and even though Aquaman was a good movie by itself, you can't say that Rotten Tomatoes kind of gave them that push they needed.
Yeah.
Or oh, sorry.
No, but then it's also the opposite. Whereas in things like Watson and Holmes also probably suffered a great deal because its Rotten Tomatoes score initially was so low.
Yeah.
So, and I do think that a lot of these people know that Rotten Tomatoes is an important resource. And that's why they specifically went and attacked the movie through it, because, you don't hear anybody saying, oh my god, they went on its IMDb page and just fucking gave it 1 star, 1,000,001 stars. Rotten Tomatoes scores are a big deal. And so a lot of them are crying. My favorite cry of all, censorship, which is now like the word literally, in which it is overused all the time and nobody really understands what it means.
Yeah.
But I'm going to break it down for anyone listening who's like just getting steadily angrier because they do think it's censorship. Listen to me very closely, friendos. Censorship is almost always government wide, right? So for example, you can't have censorship by one company that then you have other competitors that you can do the same thing with. So when Rotten Tomatoes says you cannot review this movie right now, just right now, by the way, not in the future, you can take its score later, just not right now before it goes up, that is not censorship. Censorship is you speaking out about something, and then the government or whomever coming to your house, arresting or killing you for said opinion, right? Censorship is not when a company decides not to allow you to use certain parts of its service at a certain time, nor is it someone saying, hey, your opinion is really harmful and unintelligent and not very kind or, just generally poorly made. That's not censorship. That's called, I'm using my free speech to challenge your free speech, and then you can use your free speech to challenge me, and back and forth. It's called a discussion. Most nations understand that this is a healthy part of having different opinions, talking about them. But there are some people on the internet who think because Rotten Tomatoes has decided that you cannot, at this specific time, say shit about a movie that none of you have fucking seen yet, that, oh my god, everything is falling to shit, the SJWs have taken over the internet, and it's all downhill from here.
Right, and here's where it even gets worse. You guys also forgot that Rotten Tomatoes is a private website. So the people who own it or the board have the right to say what they want to do with their service. If you don't like it, go to another website and bitch. Yeah. Go to...
Any of them. IMDb, Metacritic.
I mean, go to your own Twitter. But that's the thing. It's like, that's to be fair, it's like they have right to this. And also, why would they allow this to happen? Because you put the pieces together. You may not notice, guys, the movie scene isn't doing that great. It isn't doing that great because, people are seeing it, but people aren't going to theaters as much anymore. People are seeing it through other channels.
Yeah. Cough, cough, Netflix. But
yeah, exactly. So what Rotten Tomatoes is part of this industry. You realize we got to help it the way we can. So let's not have any more pre-reviews of movies. And that's a fair assessment to help the industry out. So come on, this is a business move. It's a smart one.
And let's remember this, guys, for anybody who's really mad at Captain Marvel, whatever your reasons are, though I strongly disagree with you, think of it this way. Think long term. People who are reacting short term are not thinking that down the line a movie comes up that you like but maybe is more raunchy or less politically correct, as people say, then the SJWs can't go on and attack your movie and lower its score before it comes out. So this is really a win-win for all sides, but because it's happening with one kind of movie, everybody decided to rally around and do,
Right.
and freak out about it, which to me is hilarious. Like, it's just, hypocrisy is probably the worst thing that you can have if you know me, because I will point out your bullshit. Like, I am incredibly, incredibly liberal, but at the same time, I recognize that my more conservative friends have just as much a right to say shit and shit on things that I love as I have, to do that kind of shit on shit they love.
Yeah.
So think long term. This is actually a move that protects lots of movies, all kinds of movies. It's not cherry picking. Oh, well, Captain Marvel will be protected, but other movies, nah, fuck them. No, every movie is now going to be protected, and that's important. This is a decision that should have come before. It just didn't happen to, because it had never been as big an issue as it was with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and to be fair, though, it's like, even if let's say you dislike the movie and it comes out, is it real? You're gonna go on and do it anyway. So you gotta wait what, extra 30 minutes, to say fuck you, Captain Marvel, and the women has destroyed my dreams. I mean, that's probably the master plan, but still, come on.
Yeah, just so you know, all the women of the world, we get together at a meeting and we talk about how we can destroy all white dudes.
I knew it. It's all coming together. I knew it. So, it's always there.
Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed 2019. But it's actually also stupid because it's also Rotten Tomatoes being a responsible website / corporation, because they understand the social power of their website and they do not want to be used in a terrible way, which is the opposite of fucking Facebook. So it's like, oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, and if you don't like what a private company is allowed to do, you're not mad at censorship, you're mad at capitalism. So, welcome to the revolution, comrade. If you want the government to step in and force Rotten Tomatoes to, supply an ability to let the masses voice their ill will, then you gotta overthrow the government and put in a communism. So, congrats.
We did it.
We did it. We're gonna own private businesses. And before you say no, but you can do that with the dictatorships of the fascist variety often promote actually small businesses, because that's what funds their regime. So, you gotta be communist. Sorry.
Yeah.
Have fun, comrades.
Have fun. But yeah, Dash Vidanya. But yeah. And
Either way, I'm still gonna go see the movie, so.
Oh, I'm gonna see it because it's a Marvel movie, and even the worst part is, like, people are anticipating the death of this movie or whatever, but like, even the weakest Marvel movie series, which is arguably the Ant-Man series and could be considered the Guardian series.
No way.
So I'm saying, even if you're anticipating the worst of this movie, as well as the weakest Marvel movie there is, even the weaker Marvel movies do well. The Ant-Man series may not be the biggest seller, but it did enough to put the brand out there, as well as the Guardians. The second Guardians movie was pretty weak, or the second Thor movie. Even Marvel's weakest movies do exceptionally okay well. It's just that, again, Marvel has the brand. So you're going to take down Marvel because of the movie. So you're going to hate Guardians, you're going to hate Miss Marvel, but you're going to see Thor. I mean, you're going to see the second Infinity War too. And you know how stupid that sounds? I'm going to hate you, Marvel. I'm ruining this movie. But then you're going to see the next product. You got to ban Marvel the whole way through then.
Yeah, believe me, Marvel is a train that you cannot stop, buddies. I know you think that you can shut this shit down, but you're and that's the other thing, that people don't think long-term strategy. I mean, obviously not everyone is trained to be a marketer, trained to think about these things in bigger ways, but Marvel's just fine without you. In fact, your trollingness of this movie will actually make certain people now want to see it more. People who would not have gone to see this movie will now go to see the movie because of the attention that's being brought to it. The average Joe's not going to be like, oh, these guys on the internet, they're mad at it, so I'm not going to go. They're going to be like, look at all these nerds getting mad about this movie. I bet it's going to be hilarious. I'm going to go to the movie to watch it. And pay like $20 a head to go see this movie. So, congratulations, you're bad at life.
Yes.
Try again.
Try again. And that's the way to look at it. And speaking of, being communist and Russian, there's one show on Netflix that has caught my eye and I loved it. Russian Doll. I really love that show. It's so great.
So good. I have a funny story about it. I think I was alone in my house, that, the weekend it came out, and it was Saturday morning, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I don't feel like getting dressed yet. I'll watch something and cook or whatever, and then I'll go out.
Hmm.
And so I saw Russian Doll. I was like, fuck it. I love Natasha Lyons. I think she's great. I love her in But I'm a Cheerleader and Orange is the New Black. So I decided to watch. And then 4 hours later, I finished the show. I just could not stop watching. And in fact, if you go to the outerhaven.net, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you will see my review there, in which I call it a beautiful roller coaster through time travel.
Yeah. I also I could show more of a moral sense or the human connection was really strong. Like to me, I actually relate to the guy Alan. I have as a person, this is a little personal. I do have some control issues in the sense that I think I could fix everything if I keep doing it right. It doesn't work that way. Some people could just not accept that, and I felt bad for him that he couldn't get the girl. But at the same time, it was better that way because you can't force someone to love you. It's not happening.
And at the end, and what I really love about it is that they really could have easily made this show like, oh, Natasha Lyon's character and Alan fall in love. And it was like, that would have just been a really cheap cop-out, and it would have broken my heart. So I'm really glad that they decided, like, you know what? We're just going to make this a story about human connection and about, fixing our broken selves and coming to terms with the growth that we need to do.
Exactly. Like, Natasha needs to learn you just can't run away from people. And even though I agree was the guy John was a total dweeb as a guy. Like, you really threw her your whole life for a chick? You have issues. Even though he has a daughter and everything, you do what you gotta do. But I'm like, yeah, you just couldn't, you couldn't just you couldn't just do that to a guy. And they're like, well, see you later, have some coffee. You not only owe an apology, you owe a connection to him at least. At least a hello to his daughter or something. At least to know, because he's divorced now.
Yep. And he got divorced because of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this show really takes a lot of narratives and throws it on his head because Nadia, the character, played by Natasha Lyons, really sort of embodies more the challenge of like a typical man in these kinds of movies, and Alan actually typifies more of the female one, right?
Yes.
If I do everything right, if I'm perfect, if I got this, then everything is going to be fine. Like that's really more of like the female plot usually for these kinds of things.
Exactly. It was explained as well as Alan's belief system. First of all, you would expect someone so early to believe in the nature of God. Like this is a purgatory and hell is punishment. And now he's like, nah, this isn't that shit. What are you talking about? Yeah. I'm like, no. But it's really cool, and this fact is that, no spoilers, we get further and further down, you actually see, I would say, the interactions when they fail and die again, how they try to change bits of their lives, and it doesn't work. Because remember, Alan's like, okay, if I can't get my girl back, I'm going to beat up the guy cheating on me. That doesn't save anything. It just takes out your anger for no reason.
Yep. And Alan slowly comes to realize, and that's what I love the most about Alan's plotline, is that he's the first to sort of fix himself and realize, like, you know what? At the end of the day, like, my life is not just a checklist. My life is not do this thing and get this done. It's more like I need to be free. I need to free myself from this order that I've imposed on myself. And the challenge for Nadia, who's so quote unquote free, the reason she lives at such a bohemian lifestyle, like the parties and the drugs and the sex, is because she had an abusive, out of control mother.
Right.
So, to me, again, that's usually the stuff that, again, you usually see those characters reversed in gender. So I really loved that, that sort of take on it. And just the acting is so spectacular.
Oh,
in that
yes.
whole show. The acting, the writing, everything is amazing. Like, watching everything slowly change. It's fun to go back, watch the show again, and see all the things that are different or disappear.
Yeah, and I think a little aspect is the music straight in the game. I'm not in the game. Because I felt like it was a game because it's like they die and they load back into the same state.
It's Bandersnatch 2.0!
Yeah. And the song is just gotta get up, gotta get. And I found it on YouTube and I saved it. It was great, gotta get up. Like every time they died, it's just that song keeps playing again and again. It's a great song.
Yeah, I love shows like that like have a central popular song that you instantly recognize. There was a show on, I want to say CBS, which was it was a limited series about bugs taking over Washington, and they all loved this one song that I forgot how it goes. Like, if I heard it, I'd be like, that's the fucking song. So every time you hear it, you know someone's been infected.
Yeah.
And it's this really, like, happy, upbeat, like, fun song. And I love when shows do that, because then it's like my brain automatically knows what's going on, and I love it.
Yeah, and I think one of the also stronger points of the show is, again, it deals with death. It's black. Not it just it's. I feel like this show by the end of the year better get nominated for a goddamn Emmy some way.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I definitely think it deserves it. Speaking of amazing shows that are on Netflix right now, even though you didn't get the chance to watch this one yet, Umbrella Academy's first season, people are vying now for season 2, but its first season is on Netflix, and as someone who has seen the show and read the comics, I've got to say, I really like the show a lot better than the comics.
I have yet to. I'm actually waiting to read the comic to give a good viewing of the show, not to see what they got right or got wrong. I want to see how the two different mediums explain the themes that is on the show or the comic correctly. I want to see, because one thing I've always been interested in reading comics and TV shows, I want to see which medium is actually good for certain themes of thematics. Like, I feel that comics are really good when it comes to more darker, I would say some darker emotions or dealing with depression or slice of life things. And I think TV is just great for, the sense of action, as well as, I want to say, so the one character build. This one character will save the day. This guy.
Yeah. I mean, I do have to say that if you are going into the show having read the comics, definitely the two arcs, the first arc, the Apocalypse Suite, and Dallas are mixed together in one big plot. But also a lot of things are different. Like, for example, Klaus gets more character development, which to me is really important, because I love, actually, I don't know, I just love the TV portrayal of Klaus. He was so interesting and fun, and, you get more about the time travel mechanics that you see in the comic. It's definitely not a light show. It's definitely not a show that you should watch if you're, like, here just to have a good time. There are some pretty dark emotions involved. There's some pretty fucked up shit that happens on the show itself, but I definitely, if you like the comics, if you're just really into, like, the superhero dystopia, as I call them, not like that the world is ending in the comic too, but excuse me.
More but like you say more like
the downfall of the hero, you know what I mean?
Oh, the deconstructionism, yeah,
there we go. Yeah. That's what I meant. If you love deconstructionism when it comes to superhero stories, this is going to be the show for you. The acting is incredible. I actually was surprised to hear that people were not pissed, because people get pissed about everything. Cough, cough. Brie Larson topic. That number 3. The rumor was cast as an African American woman, and, like, no one batted a fucking eye about it. And I was like, good, yes, good. And number 2 is Latino man, which is also awesome. Like, yay, you could make good representation, and you did it. I'm so proud of you.
So proud of you guys. And no one, and the horses are eating each other, which I always make that comment, like, oh my god, is what's thinking about all the horses eating each other? All right, then you got nothing to worry about.
Yep, no, they were fine. It was great. I was honestly just some of the best acting I've seen in a long time. There's a kid actor in there, and he's just fucking phenomenal. Ellen Page is great. There's just, I don't know. Wait,
Ellen Page is there?
Ellen Page plays number 7, Vanya.
Oh, nice. That's kind of cool.
The white violin. Yeah, you've got to see it.
All right, it's got Ellen Page. That's all right. Definitely got to see that.
Ellen Page in suits.
There we go. We finally did it, guys.
We finally did it, guys. We've got the pinnacle of success. Ellen Page in suits.
Yep. But honestly, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Also, not to get back on Russian Dolls, I've heard through a little rumor that the show pitched for several seasons but only got selected for one. So I was like, how could he? And the way the series ended, wait, this could get several seasons of Russian Doll? How is this possible?
I mean, what I would do if I were them, I would actually do different characters every time.
Yeah, it'd actually be pretty cool.
Different characters.
Or they do the same characters from different parties. Like, for example, there was a homeless man. See, why was he everywhere? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or like, what happened with the cat?
Oh yes. Oh, the cat. The entire half a season about the cat. That'd be cool.
That cat. Yeah. And speaking of things, I know we had not talked about this before, but I want to bring it up really quick because it is book news. For those of you who are big fans of The Haunting of Hill House, I don't know if you are, Matt, if you're a big Haunting of Hill House guy.
Nope. Just heard of it just 10 seconds ago. You just mentioned it.
What? Okay, first of all, end the pod. No, I'm just kidding. Don't end the podcast right now. But once this podcast is done, if you like horror, and from what I can tell, you're at least okay with horror, check out this Netflix show called The Haunting of Hill House. It got a lot of buzz last year. It came out of nowhere. I was super suspicious of it because it's not a direct adaptation of the Shirley Jackson novel. But it turns out that's actually better because they made an incredible show that was still true to the spirit of the book. And everyone was like, fuck, now it's over. And nobody wanted a sequel to the show because everyone thought, well, where the fuck where do you go from here? But they are making a sequel. It is called The Haunting of Bly Manor. And if you are a horror nerd like me, you know that Bly Manor is the home that is in Henry James's famous story, The Turn of the Screw, which is also a super creepy book that will have nothing to do with the Shirley Jackson one. So, Russian Doll could do a similar thing. They could say, let's focus on new characters, let's do a new situation, let's do different runs of this. Netflix is trying that out probably with Bly Manor, and if it works well, maybe Russian Doll will come back with a whole new cast.
Believe it or not, I think HBO does the same concept with the show True Detective, which I love.
Yes,
so it's like, do. Yeah. So yeah, you know what? It works.
Yeah, and Black Mirror never has the same characters twice.
Yeah, it's true. I think this concept of the episodic, or I would say season, the season theme thing could be a thing that's seasonal thing could be the new theme for television, because I think American Horror Story has the same format.
Oh yeah, that's right, American Horror Story and American Crime Story, which the Gianni Versace series is actually now on Netflix too.
Wait, there's American Crime Story?
Yep, the first season covered the O.J. Simpson trial, and the second one is about the murder of Gianni Versace, the fashion mogul.
I know. Oh, I've seen the first one with OJ. I thought that was actually the title. Like, oh, this is the OJ case with this, so they don't get sued by OJ or something. Because you know how Juice is.
Yeah. Juice is crazy. But no, American Crime Story is like American Horror Story. It's the same producer, it's the same guy who heads it, and it has the same thing where it's like every season is a different story.
That is, that is pretty cool. I'm going to check it out because I do love, Sarah loves horror. I love crime. I love gritty comics. I love Criminal. I'm actually lit that Criminal is coming back as a comic. Like the first issue's out of the new Criminal series. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Making a Murderer is back too now with season 2.
Right, I better get on that.
Yeah. I love Serial. Serial is great.
Yeah. And I think this is the new format. It's going to be this format of seasonal things is going to be very popular. We're experimenting. It's going to be very popular. I think that it has definitely the potential.
It gives you more range to play around with a concept, which is great.
Yeah, basically. Yep. Yeah. I'm definitely excited about it.
But I think we should talk about some sad news. We've talked a lot about new shows on Netflix, but now we have to say goodbye to 2 more shows on Netflix.
God, yeah. So Netflix has decided to end their relationship with Marvel in a very messy way, and I really do mean it messy. So there will all the Netflix shows have been canceled. We do not have Daredevil, we don't have Luke Cage, we don't have Iron Fist. Now we don't have Punisher or Jessica Jones. So it's all gone. The shows will still be there for the time being, though I'm a bit concerned about a couple of things because. I'm concerned because, how to put this, is not only shows ending, have the relationships between the 2 providers gotten really that sour?
I think Netflix is sort of doing the, if I can't have them alone, then no one's gonna have them, but obviously they can't stop Disney, so. Right,
and if the Disney platform does launch and be semi-successful, I think we'll all be in trouble. I think they'll be in trouble.
Yeah, I already feel a little bit of that fatigue from like, oh, now it's another service I have to sign up for because I want to sign up for CBS All Access to get access to Star Trek, but also to the
Yes.
upcoming Twilight Zone and the new adaptation of The Stand they're going to do, the Stephen
Oh wait,
King.
that's not a rumor. The Twilight Zone.
No, they have a trailer and everything, man.
Oh man, no, I've heard honestly, like I thought it was rumored because of the fact that I saw inklings of it on Twitter. It's like the new Twilight Zone that has to be. No one's really gonna bring out this show. Oh man, now I gotta.
Yeah, hun.
Oh boy.
Let me catch you up real quick, as well as our audience. If you haven't heard, the new Twilight Zone will be available on CBS All Access, and guess who is the host? Who's the new Rod Serling?
Oh wow, is it Daniel Radcliffe?
No, of course not. It is Jordan Peele, the famous
What?
director of Get Out and the upcoming Us.
Nice.
Yep, he's going to be our Rod Serling, and he so far is a lot of fun. There was a Super Bowl commercial with him talking in a very Rod Serling kind of way, walking across a football field. It was great. There is a trailer out now. It has Adam Scott, Camille Nanjiani, John Cho, other famous people whose names I can't remember right now. But you can already see they're pretty dedicated to diversity, which is fucking awesome. Diversity is my favorite word.
My favorite word?
Unlike some people.
Like some...
But yeah, it's a thing. It's a real thing. It's happening.
Cool. The only thing I heard about CBS All Access was the Star Trek series, and personally, in my opinion, I love Star Trek. I want to see it. I don't care if it's the Kelvin timeline, the prime time. Like, I just love Star Trek. Okay. I've always been iffy about buying the pass to see Star Trek, but at least I can maybe get it to see 2 shows now. So yeah.
I have to say, I got the first season for my dad on DVD, Blu-ray.
Oh, it's on TV. Okay, cool. I don't have to take the risk that hard. Okay, cool.
No, yeah. Well, I personally really liked the first season. I thought it was great. So I definitely recommend.
Is it post Picard or pre Picard?
Oh no, God! This is like at the very beginning of Starfleet.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
This is like how the war with the Klingons started.
Oh, fantastic then. Yep. All right. I wanted to be sure.
It. Michelle Yeoh's in it. She's great. It's awesome. There's a gay relationship and everything for everyone who was like, you can't make Sulu gay. Not
so let's
right.
Let it straight. So it's not so that meme that I saw on Twitter. You got because I am old and stuff. There's actually something called Rainbow Discovery. I'm like, what do you guys? Why call the show Rainbow Discovery? Oh, the gay.
But it's like the best relationship. I'm like, I love this so much.
I'm literally picturing you crying right now. I love this show so much.
I love it so much. It means so much to me. I like it when they hold hands. No, but it's a really well written show. It's got a lot of great acting. Yeah, it's really cool. Like the mechanics are cool. The plot twists are really interesting. I definitely recommend. So yeah, like that's one thing I have to get now because I want to see season 2. That's already out, and I want to see Twilight Zone and The Stand, which is like a post-apocalyptic novel by Stephen King that they're going to adapt again. And now Disney has all these shows with like the Scarlet Witch show, and now actually we didn't mention this last time we talked about Disney Plus, but it just came out that they're going to do a show about Falcon and Bucky.
Falcon and Bucky. Oh boy.
Falcon and Bucky. They hate each other's guts, but what are they gonna do? There are other shows that are coming out on that platform too. They've got the Star Wars shows. They've got all this stuff. So it's like, fuck, gotta watch everything.
Though I feel like, in my personal opinion, is that I would, if I was one of the other platform series or TV networks such as CBS or NBC, whoever, I would try to put my shows as much platforms as I can because you still get a revenue cut. Because it's like the CW literally most of the shows live on Netflix, like Supergirl, Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, etc. Legions of Tomorrow, Netflix baby.
Yeah.
But hey,
good
times though. You know what was a good time? Recommendations.
Woo! Let's recommend some stuff.
Let's look some stuff. Outside, please watch Russian Doll. Seriously, go do that. It would best 4 hours of your life.
That's a double recommendation.
Yeah, don't forget to watch that. I also highly recommend, as a comic book that I've been reading lately, outside of reading the Thor, I know, lol, I recommend reading the last volume of Hope Larson's Batgirl run. Now, the reason why I say particularly the last volume is because it puts all the Batgirl's essential characteristics into nice short stories that you do not need as much the prior 3 volumes. Though I recommend you read the whole series and then go email Dan Didio, why did you cancel Batgirl, you jerk?
Exactly. Do that for us.
Yes. But seriously, it's really great, the short stories have phenomenal new artists you may have not seen before, such as, I think, Hyun Park, etc. And again, these stories are within 2-3 issues short, and I've always liked anthology stories in comic books, simply because of how much you can get, the resources to get done, as well as they genuinely feel like the way it's written. Like, this is the last story I'm ever going to write. I'm going to put all the kitchen sink. I'm going to put everything I can in. It's fantastic. And I really recommend just that particular volume, the last, I think it's volume 4 of Hope Larson's Batgirl, and check it out. If you like that, go read the prior 3. And if you don't like it, well, you have no heart. You're too busy on the internet complaining about how Brie Larson is destroying men's society. Which I, by the way, actually read that. It's on my Twitter. She's destroying the men's society. I'm like, I thought society has men and women, but whatever.
And also, like, cool, please name me all the things that white guys are not allowed to do, and then we can compare it to all the things that women of color have faced and other women have faced, and people of different sexual identities and origins and skin colors, and oh, it's great. Listen, when I have to pay like $100 for birth control because they've decided that it's elective and we should be having babies at my age,
or in some situations, I recently found out, which I find horrible. People who have gender dysmorphia or trans, they can't. Their health insurance will not give them. This is not even political spec. Will not give them to have hormone therapy because hormone therapy is considered cosmetic because some people, these celebrities and beautiful people, use hormones to enhance their look they want to be presentable, which I didn't even know that was fucking possible. I was like, holy shit.
Yep. Hormone therapy is used for lots of different things. But yeah, if you have body dysmorphia or you want to, have your outside reflect how you feel within or how you are within, because let's be real, it's not feel like it just is how you are within, then surprise, it's all out of pocket, baby.
Yeah, which I find, which is really messed up because, not even be political, again, there's science proving that gender dysmorphia and people who are trans have a disconnect, not on a magical plane. Their brain is saying this while their body is this, and it happens in a very, even though it's small numbers, it still happens.
Yep. Not to mention the fact that there are women with, different, with male chromosomes and...
Oh, yes.
And, that are women. They just happen by some random genetic mutation to have that. Or, there's lots of different things, right? Gender is not as cut and dry as you have an X and Y and I have 2 X's.
Yeah, it's not. And
it's not that simple.
Right, and the point of the matter is, again, please guys, all joke aside, if you do not like Captain Marvel, then don't bitch about it. You can bitch complain, but be constructive.
Just don't go. Just
don't go. And if you bitch about it, be constructive. Just say, like, for example, I didn't like the movie, the pacing was too slow for me. That's a legitimate reason. And to be honest with you, I felt that way about Wonder Woman. I felt that the pacing was a little off, but I still enjoyed it. But I'm like, it's not the worst movie. The pacing was a little off. It felt like when she was at the war.
Yeah, no one says you're not allowed to be critical of female-led movies. If anything, you should be critical. But what ultimately we are saying is, don't judge a movie before you fucking see the movie. Don't be mad at someone for pointing out something really fucking obvious that, like, hey, a lot of white male critics and white reporters are men and they're white, they show up and they have this one very specific perspective, which is not a not valuable perspective, but other people's perspectives are also valuable.
Yes, as well as the fact is, like, yes, you can disagree with how she said it, but it's important that we start thinking of doing this. For example, that is a good idea for I think the movie she worked at the time, Wrinkle of Time. It would have been interesting to see people of color, women, how they would rate this movie and compare it to the majority of the viewer perspective. It'd be like, maybe there are 2 different people looking for 2 different things. Some people, like, for example, as a black guy, me and my brother saw Spider-Verse, and we didn't really like it that much, but then my other friend, Chuck, great comic book artist, I'm friends with him. He loved the movie, and it's like, wow, I guess you're looking for others as I am. Because at the same time, there are people who read comics who are looking for stories, and there are people who read comics who look for escapism to see themselves. And there are two valid points of looking at a comic book.
Exactly. And the truth is, at the end of the day, we should be aiming, if you really believe that everyone is equal, then everyone should have a chance to have their opinions heard in a professional setting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you truly believe that a movie is good, then have people of all walks of life talk about it. Have people who are different from you, share their opinion, because, art is subjective. That's what makes it art. If it were not subjective, it would be called math.
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 Math. And that's my livelihood.
There's nothing wrong with pointing out, like, hey, we get a lot of this one perspective. I'd love to see more of a different perspective. There's nothing wrong with, I don't know. We need to get off this and go back to recommendations. My recommendation
is don't bitch about movies.
is don't bitch about movies before you've seen the fucking movie.
You've seen the fucking.
Be thoughtful. Christ. All right. So my recommendation is, I just finished reading this series in its entirety, The Unbelievable Gwenpool. It's a fun little series about a human person in our world who ends up in the comic book universe, and being a comics nerd, she knows everything about these characters, so she tries her best to become a hero, and it all goes delightfully awry. It's a lot of fun. It was written by Christopher Hastings, and it was drawn by, I can never say this correctly.
Guryu? That's the way I say it. Guryu. Yeah.
Gurihiru. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's colorful. It's bright. It's got a lot of that Deadpool funness. She's not supposed to be a Deadpool clone or anything. She just has a costume, and it makes her look like Deadpool a little bit. Plus, she has a propensity for using guns and murder and slapstick and fourth wall breaking, so it makes sense. But it's a lot of fun. It is over. It ended in April 2018. So you can get all the volumes from your local library or your local comic book store, or wherever you get your comics. It's a lot of fun. It's just really nice to sort of see an off-the-walls character like her having a great time in a comic book. It's a nice way to relax from all this terrible drama happening in the world.
Yeah, and the best thing about the comic is I've read the series. I loved it when the time it came out. Top 10, definitely within my top 10 series. What I mostly loved about it is the art. Is that the writer Christopher Hastings has written books like this before. One thing that put him on the map, if you guys are interested in his work, check out Dr. McNinja series. He created that, and then because of that, he got a job at Marvel. And one of the better parts about Gwenpool is how no one actually believes she knows his knowledge. They actually think it's a superpower, I think, at one point. Yeah. It's like, yes, I'm all-knowing. No, I'm in my world that you're not real. What?
What? No, all-knowing. That's a thing.
Yeah. So it's pretty funny, but I'm disappointed. I'm only disappointed how the series is over because I feel she's back in the Marvel toolbox, I would say, and people what are we going to do with this character? I feel like she'd be a great Joker Avenger or a great character on a rando team. I would love to see her.
I'm sure she'll come back, she's so popular. People really love her. I mean, hey, maybe a Gwenpool movie is somewhere in the future.
Tears.
Maybe she can make a cameo in Deadpool 3 or something.
That would be fantastic.
I would have so much fun with that. That'd be so fun.
Oh God, actually, that actually would work so hard because Ryan Reynolds already messed up the idea of X-Force as a joke.
Exactly. Have Gwenpool show up. It'll be great. She and Domino can have a lot of fun together.
And talk about how do you know this guy? Oh, I'm reading about him. You what?
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, guys, thanks again for listening to our podcast. We'll see you back next month. Be sure to follow us on all social media, and please take it to heart. Rotten Tomatoes is not out to ruin your life. You know who's out to ruin your life? Bad ideas.
And also maybe that one friend that you've always been suspicious of.
One friend you visited. Wait, and Javier at the bodega? No.
Yeah, that's why your sandwiches are never perfectly toasted. They're either too soft or too crispy.
Seriously, that is true. That is very true because I'm eating it right now. This is mad soft. What's going on?
Javier's out to get you, man. Anyway, we will see you next time. And remember, we're watching.